Tuesday, it means we're going to have one of our favorite guests on the show at the virtual breakfast table. He's a three-time Super Bowl champion. He is now our NFL Network insider when it comes to all things front office and team building. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Scott Pioli. Welcome, Scott.
Hey. Good morning, Peter. Good morning to the whole crew. Good to be back.
Great to have you here. Look, Stephon Gilmore, former Defensive Player of the Year, did not report to the team's mandatory minicamp with the Patriots yesterday. Let me ask you, would you say Gilmore actually has the upper hand in any negotiations with New England with his resume and what he matters to that team? Or should the team maybe have the power in this one?
You know, Peter, I don't think either side has much leverage. Part of what's going on here is that we don't know what's going on at all. And that's usually how the Patriots do business. It's a way that they've been very successful. So to say that Gilmore maybe has the leverage or the Patriots have the leverage, I think what we've got is it's only June 15th and it's early. Games aren't going to be played for another 3 months. They will work this out. Stephon Gilmore wants to be happy. The Patriots want to be happy. The way that the Patriots are happy is by winning Super Bowls and winning championships. They've got a number and idea for Stephon Gilmore, and Stephon has a number in his mind. I think that they're going to get this together, and I think it's way too early to speculate and or worry about this situation.
Well said, Scott. Great to see you. It's been a while. You know who's not happy? Aaron Rodgers, also the front office of the Packers, their fan base, and me, because we have to scrutinize every little thing that is said or unsaid. Now, yesterday we broke down what the president, Mark Murphy, had to say, calling him a, quote, complicated fella. How difficult of a situation is this for a front office to be in?
Okay, first of all, you know, I heard yesterday that he at the Packers had gone on the offensive. And quite honestly, I found that this comment from Mark Murphy was offensive. And I just don't think it's necessary. Leaders' top job is to eliminate distractions so players can play, coaches can coach, and front offices can work. This is completely not necessary. This is the second time that Mark's come out and said something, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for Mark, but what he's doing is not helping the situation at all. What he's doing is fanning the flames and making the job of the head coach and the general manager more difficult because they're the ones that have to deal with all the issues with the media, with the fans. So to me, you know, the best thing that can be done here is just stop talking about Aaron Rodgers because, again, in my opinion, what was said about Aaron Rodgers borders on disrespectful. There was no reason to say anything about him personally.
Scott, that's why we love you on the show, for you to be honest and also critical when you need to be about somebody that you have respect for. That's why you are who you are. We appreciate that sincerely. So June is Pride Month, and the NFL is furthering conversations about the LGBTQ plus community. While there hasn't been an active player in the NFL to come out, you actually have a relationship personally with somebody, Ryan O'Callahan. Why don't you start from the beginning and tell us about your professional relationship with Ryan and how it began?
Well, Nate, you know, back in 2006, we drafted Ryan O'Callahan in the 5th round at the New England Patriots. Spent 3 seasons with him. And then in his 4th season, I went to what was about to be his 4th season, went to the Chiefs. He was released that training camp, and we claimed him on waivers. He came in. He had started several games for the Patriots and was a part-time starter, but had some injury issues. When we got him to the Chiefs, you know, he came in, he started for us immediately, but again, the injury issues continued. And Ryan went through a lot of tough times, and during that period, he and I became friends, and the relationship was not just professional, it was personal. So we got to know a lot about one another, about one another's families, about one another's backgrounds. And the fact is both of us came from families that had addiction issues and allowed us to grow closer, which led me to believe that he had developed a problem through his injuries, and he actually did, unfortunately.
Well, Scott, the story doesn't end there. You and your staff ended up getting Ryan the help that he needed, but that allowed him to focus on another aspect of his life that he was struggling with. Tell us what happened next.
Yeah, so after I made sure that our trainer and some of the people close to him were on top of it. And we found out he had a problem. He went away, and when he came back, he said that he had to meet with me and he wanted to talk to me. He had something really serious to talk about, and I could tell on the phone he was really, really upset. And I thought he had done something bad or that he had had a problem that went further. So this was in the off season of 2011. It had just started. So Ryan came into me and let me know that he was probably going to stop playing, that he was clean, he was sober, everything was fine. But then he said he had something else to tell me. And he looked at me and he started crying and he says, "Scott, I'm gay." And I'm like, "Okay, so what did you do?" He goes, "I'm gay." And I'm like, "And?" And he just burst into tears again. He says, "Don't you understand? I'm gay." And I'm like, "Ryan, no offense, but I don't care. I still love you and we're still friends." And this was the moment that he came out. Well, it led to this really, really long conversation. And he left that day, and I promised him that his secret was safe with me until he told me it was time. And then about 7 years later, he decided to come out and Out Sports. Sid Ziegler wrote a terrific story on him coming out. And Ryan has dedicated his life towards, taking care of not only himself, but other people and sharing his story. And I'll say this, I'm so proud of Ryan and all that he's done. He has saved lives across this country and outside of this country by coming out and telling the world his story, because Ryan himself, unfortunately, was on the brink of potentially committing suicide. And he has shared that story with the world. He shared it with me at that moment. And, there was a team of people that really helped Ryan. And more than anything, Ryan helped himself.
Unbelievable, Scott. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being that sounding board for Ryan, and thank you for all that you're doing. But gosh, everyone, please look into Ryan O'Callahan's story. What an incredible message this is, especially during Pride Month. And Scott, thanks so much for joining the show and opening up your heart and opening up your compassionate soul for everyone to hear, because this stuff is sometimes the material in the NFL that doesn't go spoken about, and we appreciate you using our platform to share that tale.
No, thank you, Peter. And thanks, everyone, for allowing me to share Ryan's story. And thank you, Ryan, for allowing me to share your story. And truthfully, please go look this story up in Out Sports. And I will say that CBS did a terrific piece on him this past week, and it's on Twitter. Please go look at this story, because this is real life stuff. As you said, Peter, this is people's real lives, and it's about love and compassion and empathy and just caring about other people.
No doubt.
Beautiful.
It's so well said, and it's not the only story. NFL.com/pride is a great place to go to look at the causes the NFL has joined forces with to bring about